Hello, everybody, and welcome to our conversation in our series on why Black Lives Matter. Today, we're going to delve into the topic of seeing our true worthiness, and it's something that came up in the team. And so, Yoreen, I think you recommended it through an experience that you've had. So I'd like to just check in with you. Are you comfortable to just share that experience and how it took you into kind of just the energy of seeing your worthiness, and I think it was your worthiness and deservingness or something around that topic. So I'm going to open it up, and then let's take the conversation from there.
I feel like for the past few days, I felt like consciousness was healing around worthiness, and it's come up quite a few times within the community and outside. And I've had a few days of deep healing around worthiness. And it was just it was simply a feeling about we need to heal that to move forward. And I think worthiness in this case, in the case of our discussion around why Black Lives Matter, is deeply linked to probably the feeling of anger that can come up around racial injustice and racial separation. And I think it is important to work around our worth, claiming our true worth and claiming our self-confidence in order not to, feel like victims of the systems, and going to what is truly important, like the core of the healing. So that were my insights and thoughts around worthiness at the moment. And as I felt that consciousness was healing that as a whole, I thought it was important maybe for us to talk about it, and that's how we began. That's how we chose the topic.
Okay, cool. So it wasn't necessarily related to an experience. It was more that it was on the healing path, and that was the next thing that came into your awareness.
Yeah, it was not a precise experience at the time, although afterwards I experienced a lot of I had a lot to heal about it. It was just like a feeling coming up about worthiness is a big thing at the moment. Maybe we should talk about it. So yeah, nothing precise.
Okay, and so just in your healing experience there, what triggered it? What actually led you into the awareness that worthiness is something that feels like there's a call in consciousness to heal right now?
Mm-hmm. What triggered it? I think at the start it was about my insecurities. I was feeling around my insecurities, and I've seen I've read the posts of the community around their healing this week, and I felt it into my own, and I kind of branched together the whole pattern. It was insecurities that didn't let me to have confidences in what I was creating, So I was stalling and trying to avoid something, and then I was in that kind of anger pattern of like, oh, I can't do it. And I was like, oh, this is victim consciousness, so I need to heal that. And so by branching all these things one by one, I was like, okay, if there is like a core healing around insecurities and worth, it's definitely time to heal it and not avoid it, because it feels like it can snowball into a whole pattern of like avoiding, avoiding what we need to do, our service, our work for the day. And yeah, for me, it can go like very far. I used to, be so paralyzed by fear and not being able to like succeed at something, that I would just like be in my bed in a fetus position, kind of in depression. So yeah, I feel like those are like past patterns that are coming up to be healed today.
Yeah, I think you've touched on something that's probably been almost a recurring trend in our conversation over the last year and a half, in terms of value, being valued and holding your value high, and seeing your worth. And then also the energy of not acting out of fear, because there's literally two components. There's the component where fear debilitates you, so you do nothing, or fear debilitates you because you're afraid to fail, so you take your time doing it. And I think it's something that Chrissy also addressed in her address, in terms of, what is the negative attention actually giving you that you're not giving yourself? So that energy of stalling, where people start to call you out all the time, what is it giving you? And do you really need that in order to get you to do something? And something that I've felt into in this kind of past few weeks is just that energy of where I'm not choosing myself, and it's little nuances. And then when when I make the choice to choose myself, there's always an action step, and that action step is the affirmation of the choice. But it's also very easy in that space to sit in the space of, or the energy of, complacency. Like, it's not that bad, I don't need to do it, I don't need to address it, or it's okay to just leave it alone. It's kind of that energy of inaction after a choice. Because I think one of the things that I've discovered in my journey is that the minute I make a choice, there's always the next piece of action, of follow through in some way or another. And so I feel like that speaks to the energy of seeing your worth. Are you worthy of your choice? Are you worthy of your new choice? Is the action that you're taking reaffirming your new choice? And it's that energy of, I've made the choice, I need to follow through, but am I worth the thing that I've chosen? And sometimes not feeling worth the thing that you've chosen might mean that there is no follow through. So it's kind of been an interesting journey just to kind of unpack this and look at it from a different perspective, because I feel like one of the things that we get very clear on as we start to do the inner work is that the things that are out of alignment start to show up quite easily. or we're able to see them more easily. But then it's our choice to act in alignment with our new choice, or not to act, or to continue acting in alignment with what the previous choice was. But I feel like all of that, underlying all of that, is the energy of worthiness. Like, am I worthy of this new shiny thing that I've called into my life? And if I am, then I need to act in that direction. And that direction may, in certain instances, be placing a firm boundary. Or it may be letting go of a pattern of behavior that has kind of, in the past, potentially served me. And sometimes it's even letting go of a pattern of behavior that I've used as motivation and find the true core of the motivation. Like because the true desire for me feels like the core of the motivation, but it's still the action the choice to act in that direction. So like, I'm opening that up to all of you, because like, I know I've said a lot, but like for me, the core of it is the underlying thread of worthiness. And are you worthy of this good new thing? And therefore you act in that direction, or are you still doubting your worth, and so you don't fully act in that direction?
For me, like, as I've been healing through this blog personally, what comes up is like another layer of fear, which you both touched on. But fear around the expectations, like what happens if I do claim my worthiness and I do claim my power, then the expectation is now greater. Or I'm placing expectations on myself, which makes it feel like it's like there's a fear of failure there. And then there's a fear of, well, if I claim my worthiness and I step into my power, more will be expected of me. And what if I can't deliver, kind of thing? So yeah, it goes back to that root of, I don't know if it's like I'm not worthy of this or fear of failure, but yeah, I guess it is all the same energy of not feeling like enough.
Maybe you're feeling a bit of pressure, putting a bit of pressure on you and expectations. You know, and I felt that too. I think like along with worthiness, it's about like knowing that you're divine, and it's more like you should shift your consciousness from will more be expected of me to am I worthy of having a seamless, perfect life? You know, something that is easy. And yeah, I think maybe there is resistance to our divine life and that fear, because God's desire is our own. Like, it's the only thing, it's the easiest thing. And thinking that it's difficult is actually the ego and the lie. And maybe sure, God is gonna ask more of us, but because we've said yes first, but it doesn't have to be more difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really great point. Like, I think that's the piece I was missing. Like, it doesn't have to be hard, right? Like, when we claim our worthiness and we step into our power, we can choose for it to be easy. And we are also worthy of it being easy. And I think that was the piece that I was missing. I have a lot of resistance to like ease that I've been working through. I make things harder than they have to be. So yeah, really good.
Yeah, I think I do think other people in the community are working through this too. So it's very fitting that you're addressing that. And yeah, even when you feel like there are challenging times, you can ask God for ease. You can ask God for anything. And just remember that you're not doing this alone. And that even when times are difficult or you feel the difficulty, there is like God and other people around to support you. Yeah, and there is that connection between the unity that we talked about last week and feeling divine. Because we're all one, we're all working for something. Yeah, so are you feeling better right now?
Yeah, that does feel a lot better. And like, it makes me think about like this energy and consciousness and how it like specifically relates to people of color and how historically like we've had challenging experiences, right? And so we like get in this pattern of our life is challenging or life for people of color is challenging, and it becomes like an identity kind of thing. But like we can let go of that completely and just allow life to be easy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Do it just to release the life that it's part of your identity.
Yeah.
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 It doesn't have to be hard. Seeing our true worth is about saying that we deserve heaven on earth as anyone else. That's part of being a child of God.
Right. Yeah. It's different. Like it's different and it's new to make that new choice. Because like personally, I'm just so used to things having to be challenging. And that's how I proved my worth, right? Like if I overcame the challenge, then I was worthy. But if life is just easy, it's like, how can I prove that I'm worthy? So you really have to make that core choice of I'm worthy, like inherently, just by being, and I don't have to prove it. So yeah, that feels really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you're making me think about like something I experienced yesterday. It's like doing a card reading and talking with God. Is that okay? I don't have to prove my worth or devotion, my love. It's already there. I just have to live my life with God and heal.
So Diana, I have a question for you. And I think it's a question that I have because I've experienced it myself. And I was just wondering, is there a part of you that doesn't trust peace?
Yeah. Definitely. I've been moving through this. Like it just feels but yeah, it's like that mistrust. I was just working through that last night. Like this, easy life that I'm calling in, there's something about it that I feel like I can't trust or really sink into.
Okay, let's go into that. Are you comfortable to go into that piece of healing now?
Yes, my laptop is about to die, so I just need to plug it in real quick, if that's okay.
Okay, it's cool.
All right.
Power up the laptop. Yeah, so I'd like, just while Diana's doing that, I just would like for the rest of you also, just feel into that place where there's a potential that you may not be trusting peace. And it might be something inadvertent because it's not been a natural state. And so the idea is to get back to our natural state through this piece of healing. So yeah, Diana, are you ready to do this?
Yes.
Cool. So let's just take a deep breath and just exhale. And can you feel into that place where there's a little bit of a mistrust of ease and peace?
Mm-hmm.
And can you see that part of yourself? That's the kind of questions that ease and that peace.
Mm-hmm.
And what feeling is she sitting with in that space where she questions ease and questions peace?
Yeah, there's she's got a wall up because she's trying to protect herself. But if I go deeper there, there's sadness.
Yeah, so in just having a look at that wall, is it really necessary? What necessitates the wall?
It keeps her safe.
Right. And in her projecting her safety onto a wall, is there a potential that she's not trusting God to keep her safe? And so if she were to trust God to keep her safe, would the wall be necessary?
No, the wall wouldn't be necessary.
Right, and you can let go of any judgment that you may have in relation to having placed that wall there in the first place. Like she did what she needed to do while she was doing it, and now she knows better, so she can do better for herself, right?
Right.
Right, so it's easy to allow the wall to dissolve because God's love and protection was always there in the first place. All she needs to do is recognize it. There's no need to go looking for it. There's no need to negotiate with the universe. It's there. It's almost as intrinsic as the fact that there's blood in your veins. It might even be more intrinsic than the fact that there's blood in your veins. How does that feel?
Yeah, I can definitely feel that I wasn't really letting God in this space.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. At that point, you weren't letting God in that space. But can you choose to let God in that space now?
Yes.
How does it feel to just give yourself compassion in that place?
It feels good.
Yeah, it's good. Because your natural state of being is to feel good.
Yeah. I guess what comes up is like what happens next.
So, do you choose to partner with God here so that God can show you what happens next? How does that feel?
Yeah.
How does it feel to know that you don't have to have all the answers, but you can look to God for the answers and the partnership?
Yeah, I can just surrender.
Amen. And surrender doesn't mean give up. Surrender means allow God and then just follow where God is leading you. How does that feel?
Well, that's a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot easier. And in that space of ease, can you feel how you're walking into more trust with God? And is it okay to take baby steps into trust with God? Is it okay to take the step that's in front of you into trust with God?
Yes.
How does that feel?
Feels really good, actually.
You can let yourself off the hook. You don't have to do it all immediately. How does it feel to just give yourself that compassion?
Yeah, that feels really good.
And in that space of feeling good, does it feel like it's complicated to take that next step with God?
No,
What does it feel like?
it feels easy.
Right.
Feels peaceful.
Good. And so is it okay to accept that ease and peace?
Yes.
How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels great. It feels like when you have a hole or something and you fill it up or you plug it in or something like that. It feels complete there. It feels good.
Awesome. And that completion came through from God, with you, through you. How easy was that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, how easy was that? And I think that's part of learning to accept your peace, is that it's so easy when you actually choose to partner with God in this space. And as you choose to partner with God, there's no reason for God to let you down. So you can trust the ease and peace.
Yeah. It's the resistance that makes it harder.
Yeah, so is there any part of you that's feeling a sense of resistance right now?
Yeah, I choose to let that go.
Yeah, that's good. Choose to let it go, but just feel into the resistance and just allow it to dissolve. Don't fight it. Don't put energy into avoiding it or releasing it. Just allow it to peacefully dissolve. Allow its illusionary power to just let it evaporate. And as you let it evaporate, how do you feel now?
Yeah. It's a new feeling. It's a new it's completely like different. And so there is a little bit of fear there. Like this is a new experience. I'm not used to it. I'm not comfortable in it. It's not my comfort zone.
And so is new in and of itself a bad thing?
No.
Right. And so a new feeling shouldn't evoke fear. But if it does evoke fear, it requires a deeper acceptance of that new feeling. Like the new feeling can't actually do anything to you, but it can do something for you. How does it feel to know that that new feeling is for you?
Wow, yeah. That's it's a really great way to look at it. And yeah, I can let that in. And it feels good to allow the new feeling to serve me.
Yes. Yes. Because if it's for you, there's no requirement to be defensive. And so there's no requirement to put up a wall believing that the wall is the protection. Because it's for you, so you get to choose what you take from it. How does that feel?
I like that. Yeah. That feels good.
Good. Is there anything else coming up for you?
Feels peaceful.
Good. Is it a peace that you can allow?
Yes.
Good. And in your choice to allow that peace, you've chosen your peace. How does that feel?
Feels loving.
Good.
Yeah.
Would you like to just allow all of that to just integrate with you as you feel into it, and just have get the sense of whether it's complete or not, if there's anything else coming up in that space. And yeah, if there's anything else coming up, we can definitely walk through that as well.
Yeah, it feels like just grounding into the new choice, the peace.
Yeah, so allow that. Just welcome it. Welcome it into the wholeness that is you. It's for you, so welcome it into the wholeness that is you.
Yeah.
Just allow it to settle in. There's no need to unpack it further. There's no need to do anything with it. It's just allowing. Just allow it to integrate, allow it to settle, allow that integration to let it process naturally. You can let yourself off the hook for having to do anything with it.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
That feels good.
Awesome. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. That was really great. Thank you.
You. Yeah, and I think what the thing that I came to awareness of over the last few days is the energy of the difference between believing that something is happening to me versus believing that something is happening for me. And so, like, in unpacking that, my thought process has been, well, if something is for me, I kind of want to see what it's about, right? I'd like if somebody said, I have a gift for you, you would want to know what the gift is. You would be naturally curious about what the gift is. And your natural curiosity does not scare you. It's actually quite peaceful. It's probably even a little bit exciting. But there's no fear there. And so it's easy to relax into that space if you believe and feel that something is happening for you. And it's something that I've been able to kind of just ground over the last few days. Like, if it's for me, I also get to decide which parts I want and which parts I don't want. So then I have an even greater power of choice in this space. And so, it's kind of like it brings up the next kind of level of, it's not about deservingness. It's the worthiness is intrinsic. And if I'm worthy of life presenting me with all these things, I get to experience life on a fuller, richer level and on a fuller, richer scale. And that's why, like, just feeling into it and feeling the energy of two, as in it happening to you versus it's happening for you, it shifts a lot of life force energy. Because if something is happening to you, there is the power, the inadvertent power of resistance. Whereas if it's happening for you, you don't resist. You then choose to either accept or not accept. And that's one of the, one of the things that was always funny to me. Like, somebody would say it's free. And I'm like, well, just because it's free doesn't mean you must take it, kind of thing. But it's this kind of stuff, and you like saying it now means something so totally different to me than it would have meant 5 years ago. Than it would have meant before I had done as much healing as I have. It just makes it very different. Because again, it's not about being ridiculous, but it's at that point of my boundary allows me to say, I accept or I don't accept. But I'm worthy of having a boundary. And I shouldn't be judging myself for having required that boundary. And that boundary is not about taking over God's job as my source, but it's honoring who I am. It's honoring my value. It's honoring my worth. So just a quick check-in, how are you guys feeling so far? Anastasia, I think your mic is off because we can't hear you. Just unplug your headphones and plug them back in. Sometimes that works, otherwise I'm not sure.
Hello?
Here we go.
Yay! I was just saying how I relate to a lot of what we were talking about today. Something that was really coming up for me with valuing myself and seeing my worth is also like making sure I like take care of myself to like the best of my ability. And so I've been really working on that and looking at the areas maybe where I need to improve and making improvements. So yeah. And then as far as like the last piece you were talking about, it really resonates because if you value yourself, then you're really like adamant about like where your energy goes and to like not leak your energy too, because that's like a big part of valuing yourself. You don't want to just leak your energy where it's not supposed to go. So yeah, that's how I related to everything today. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can relate, but I feel like a lot of purging energy, like purging the old patterns and beliefs. Sometimes that I didn't even know I was attaching to. And so it feels like a lot of upheaval at the moment. But I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know if I'm alone. It's like I have my heart is peaceful, but I have all this tense feeling around. And then, as Granville said, I just stay present with them. I allow them to dissolve, and it comes up like in waves.
Yeah, me too. When I was in my session with my coach, I was like healing the same stuff as now. And when she was taking me through it, I like felt this like deeper level of peace, kind of like how Deanna was like experiencing that today too. And I was like, oh, it's a Christmas miracle. Thanks, like, for helping me with this. Because it was like that deep. uh,
Yeah, it's like I feel like we're getting tested in a sense. Like, okay, I choose my divinity. I'm divine. I choose my worth. But am I gonna follow through with it? And like all the parts where you didn't feel worthy before are going to come up and you're going through this anger and guilt and sadness and hurt. But yeah, it feels good to share it with all of you, because just a reassurance that it's gonna pass. It's not like how it's gonna be eternally.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something that's quite important in that energy of feeling the purge, you know, feeling that release. And I think so we've probably, and for me, sometimes in my life, it's been like, you know, like you think even releasing things needs to be a struggle. And then we start to do the mirror exercise and we heal, and you're like, it's so easy to let go of the shit. You know? Like it really didn't need to be there, but it also really cool that it feels like it didn't really take root in the first place, you know. So, and I feel like that's part of the energy of ease that we are walking into, that even releasing things is easy. It might have in the past felt a little bit tougher, but the more we heal and release, the more we teach ourselves to trust ourselves in healing and releasing things. And so it just becomes more and more peaceful all the time. And for me, a lot of possibly this year has been spent trusting my peace. Like, even when there is potentially the concept of things out around me feeling or looking chaotic, not to leave my peace, but to act from a place of peace. And I was like, that's good. That's quite, you know, like when I learned that lesson, it's like, oh, I don't have to join the frazzle. I just need to look where I need to heal parts of the world where there's something calling to me about the frazzle. But I don't have to join the frazzle. I can stay in my peace. I can trust my peace. I can live here. I live here. I live in my peace. And, you know, every time I'm just reminded of something that happened in, I think it was last week's sermon where Adam and Brienne did the intro, and it was this thing about, either they did the sermon or the intro, but they did the sermon. But like that whole energy of, we don't do that here. You know, like, we don't do that here. Like, no, I chose my peace. I chose my peace. We don't do that here. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. And I think sometimes it's not even just reaffirming it. It's that energy of follow through also takes you into the space of trusting your peace, because you've made the choice, you accept that that's where you're going, and then when the opportunity presents itself to go there, you actually do. It's like a whole nother level of, and Brienne and I were talking about it today, it's like this whole nother level of intrapersonal courage. Like, you have confidence in your choice. You have confidence in yourself. You have confidence in your action. And it's like, there's so much more peace in that space, because the energy of judgment is gone. The follow through is there. And so it's just like, it settles more and more in terms of even just creating that energy of consistency that Anastasia was talking to. Like, I feel like I need to do better in this place for myself, so I'm doing it. You know, it's just that simple thing of, I am doing it. It kind of gives you a new level of peaceful confidence. And I like it, you know, like, it just becomes more and more clear how powerful it is to actually follow through on my choices. It just feels so much more comfortable. it feels so much more natural because I'm not acting out of alignment with who I feel myself to be at the core. Because I wouldn't have chosen something if I didn't feel that way at the core. And so now I'm acting in alignment with my core, and it just feels so much more comfortable. It's like a whole new, and I think it's what you were speaking to, Dion, it's that newness of it. It's like a whole new feeling. Like we know what the words mean, but now when you act and you follow through, you kind of actually feel what the words mean. It's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like you were saying, the action piece is like key, right? Because then you really get to experience the choice that you just made. And then you can like create a new pattern and a new habit, right? Based on your actions that you're taking. So yeah, that's like, I feel like it's a key component to the healing. I'm thinking back to when I used to, like years ago, when I thought that my healing had to be instant. And I had to see the results like right there in the moment. But what I'm learning is it's a process, right? And it takes practice, and it takes like making the choice and actually following through, making the choice again, actually following through, like dealing with the upheaval. It's a whole like process, it's a whole journey. And that's okay. Like, and I can choose for it to be easy and peaceful, right? And it's actually rewarding because you get to experience the process all the way through. You don't skip steps, right? And there's reward in that. So yeah.
I also feel like that follow through is an energy of reinforcement. And one of the things that has always, well, one of the things that I learned in psychology was around classical conditioning. And so, you know, I don't know if many of you would probably know the story of Pavlov and his dogs and the ringing of the bell and that kind of thing. And, you know, it's just that energy of reinforcement all the time. So when the dog, like, just like when you're training your dogs, if they do something well, you reward them with a treat. It reinforces the behavior. And so and I'm not comparing us to dogs, but on a level, our behavior follows patterns in that way, in that we do need to reinforce our choices. And the reinforcement happens through our action. And we learn to trust ourselves more when we do reinforce our choices. It's a very cyclical conditioning process. And we learn in that way. We learn through reinforcement. We cement and build new patterns through reinforcement. That's why there's a lot of theory around how much time it takes to form new habits and break old habits and all those kind of things. Because the fact of the matter is that we have learned through conditioning. And so in us following through on our choices, we are conditioning and teaching ourselves a new way. And I feel like at some point, that energy has been what leads us back into actually truly feeling the value that we have. Like, I'm worthy of doing this thing in this way for myself. I'm worthy of choosing this in my life. And so if I choose this in my life, it means that there's something else that I'm not going to be choosing. And that's okay. And it's it's almost that energy of giving ourselves permission all the time. And for me, that's a thing. Giving myself permission has been a significant process of learning, Because I feel like a lot of that conditioning in childhood kind of felt like permission was being taken away. And so now this permission to be myself more fully feels like a whole nother, it literally feels like a whole new ballgame. It's like something altogether else, or something altogether other than it was. It's a very interesting perspective, but it kind of just, it actually just feels so much more appropriate.
Yeah, it's like Jeff explained a few weeks ago. I guess we could compare what you said with our cultural conditioning and how we thought this was nature. And now we're learning what is our true nature. It's completely different because it wasn't a part of our culture before, but it's definitely how it's meant to be for us as children of God. And so it might feel strange at the beginning, but it also feels like natural, and we can trust that, like we can trust that we're on the right path because we're feeling that newness, and it feels good.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty much complete with the conversation today. So I just want to check in with everybody. Any last concluding thoughts before we close off for today? Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and to everybody that's followed us and been following us, thank you so much. And please feel free to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel. For those of you that haven't already, you will find our previous conversations in the series on why Black Lives Matter, as well as any other conversations that have happened in our Unionism Spiritual Discussion group on Facebook. And we look forward to seeing all of you next week for another conversation. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.